Streaming services are very convenient, especially for filmmakers like myself. We no longer have to try to sell DVDs out of our trunk. But I have to say, I really miss neighborhood video stores. And Family Video in Whitehall in East Columbus, Ohio, where I live, was one of the last holdouts, one of the last video stores. That sounds like a movie, The Last Video Store. Sounds like a rom-com or some kind of Kevin Smith movie. But Family Video was one of the last holdouts, and unfortunately it closed during the pandemic in the early days of the shutdown in spring of 2020. And I think the store had sort of been on its last legs, but the pandemic sort of put it out of business, which is kind of counterintuitive when you think about it, because you would think that more people are at home, and I don't think video stores, I think they were, well, I guess they were non-essential, so maybe they weren't allowed to stay open during the shutdown. But it is ironic that a video store, when so many people were at home watching TV, ended up closing during the pandemic. One of the things I miss about neighborhood video stores is the knowledgeable salespeople who you'd go in and ask for recommendations, and they'd seen pretty much everything and could steer you in the right direction. And it's just not the same with recommendations that pop up on streaming services. These algorithms try to guess what you would like or guess what you would want to watch, and it's just not the same as a live human. They're giving you a recommendation and saying, oh, I really like this movie, or this movie is really popular but it's overhyped and I wouldn't waste my money on it. I also would find movies on my own going to the video store that I wouldn't necessarily come across anywhere else. Small independent movies that were able to get their DVDs into the Family Video chain. Some of those little indie movies are on streaming services, but you really have to dig for them. It's just not the same. I don't discover the same amount of small independently made movies on streaming services that I would discover in my neighborhood video store. And a fringe benefit of Family Video in my community is that Columbus has had a fairly significant influx of Latinos in recent years, which I think is awesome. It really enriches the diversity of our community. And I'm learning Spanish and have been for years. And when I would go to Family Video, I would hear Latino families speaking to themselves in Spanish, and I would eavesdrop and try to see if I could understand what they were saying, not because I'm nosy, but just because it was a way for me to practice my Spanish. And, one of these days I was thinking I would work up the nerve to maybe try to strike up a conversation in Spanish with some of the Spanish-speaking customers at Family Video, but alas, the store closed before I could do that. So here's a question for you. I'd like to know, put your opinion in the comments. Do you think it's possible that video stores could maybe experience a sort of mini renaissance the way some record stores have that sell vinyl? I don't think DVDs are going to come back and have the same kind of cool hip factor that vinyl records do, but maybe, who knows, VHS might become popular, although it's extremely hard to find VCRs. I don't think you can find VCRs the way you can find vinyl record players, but I'd like to know your opinion. Do you think physical bricks and mortar video stores could make a comeback in some kind of way, shape, or fashion? Let me know.